TAPA! I said good morning, TAPA! Hey, it's wonderful to be back. Thank you very much. All of those people who called me, asked me to come back, please don't do it again. It's so much work for me. But hey, look, I'm very happy to be back. We have some TAPA board members in the room, and we have some former TAPA board members in the room. Can you all stand up for one moment, please? David, Kevin, Edward, up. Where's Matt? Can you give these guys a round of applause, please? They do so much hard work behind the scenes. Thank you. And you know what? Without these guys, I wouldn't be able to achieve anything. And where's my TAPA team? Where is the TAPA team? Can you all stand up? There's Madhu. Where's Bridget, Samantha, Sammy, Rashmi, Mac? And again, look, you know, I can give direction and vision, but without that team, I can't achieve anything. So thank you very much for that. Okay, so hey, why are we back here? We're back here because COVID finished. Let's go next slide, please. We're back here because COVID finished. And then we talked about a normalization. And how unnormal was that normalization? It was a complete and utter mess, wasn't it? We saw all sorts of things. We saw the Suez Canal. We saw a pull ahead on chips, which left shortages everywhere within the supply chain. We saw suddenly all of this inflation. We saw container prices jumping up something like 20 times the normal price. That wasn't normalization, was it? And when we reverse back up, before the pandemic actually hit, who actually had a plan? Who had actually done a risk assessment and actually put that into a business continuity plan? And the pandemic showed that nobody was ready. And when we did a survey together with an organization called ICR 360, what we saw was 68% of manufacturers had no business continuity plans. So what does it mean for us as the leaders? It means that we need to address those issues. And the feedback from the members was that they needed something to help them enable themselves to actually do things slightly differently. And that's one of the things that we've done. We've been very pleased to announce, I'll talk about some of these other things. We're very pleased to announce that in terms of a risk assessment, we launched that this week. We did that Monday, Tuesday. So Christian, Janet, where's the rest of the working group for the risk assessment? Please stand up. A round of applause for these people. They put a lot in a short space of time, we got together and we put together a robust standard which is really going to help companies mitigate risk. And of course, the next thing we're going to do is look at the business continuity. But why are we doing that? Because as in the opening, right, we heard inflation. Look what inflation has done to us. The chicken rice is very expensive now, I understand. So, then that's not going to go away, right? We've seen that inflation has gone rocketing in some countries, and especially in those poorer countries, where they haven't got that sort of financial sort of savings or, to see them through this, right? So, the impact has been enormous. And then we start looking at the geopolitical tensions. We have Richard, who's going to, Mark talking about that later on. And that geopolitical issues are not going to go away. The rhetoric that's going back and forth, we have the issues which are occurring in Ukraine, which is impacting the supply chain. We're going to be addressing all of those issues today, right? So it's going to be a great conference for that. Look, cyber attacks, what do we see during the pandemic? People working from home. And what happened during that period? Of course, that was the opportunity for the attackers to come in and basically, take advantage of that. And of course, look, counterfeits, We saw what happened. Everyone was looking to try and make money out of the pandemic. We saw a rise in fraud. We saw a rise in commodity fraud, containers arriving with empty bricks in it, all sorts of things. And of course, counterfeits came into that. What can TAPA do about counterfeits? Well, we'll learn about that tomorrow, but it's something that I'm passionate about, because I actually believe if you look at what TAPA has, we have the standards, we have the processes, we have the government buy-in, we have a structured audit process, and we have a 360 on our products. And we know together we could actually choke the supply chain. And where I've actually spoken to the Pharmaceutical Security Institute, is Ramesh arrived yet? I didn't see him yet. But, and I've spoken to some electronics companies. Everyone can see that this standard will actually help choke the supply chain. And that's what we want to do. If we can stop counterfeiters moving products, working together with law enforcement, customs agencies, it means that we're going to force them into that area where they're easily detected. Okay, and having investigated some of those in China when I was living there, you know, I think we've got the right methodology to address that. Let's go next slide, please. Okay, right, so what are we going to do? So remember I said about risk. We're going to address the risk in the supply chain. And we've done that by creating a standard. And that standard has a logical and methodical process of risk identification and how you're actually going to work through that. And that needs to be signed off by management. And that's important, because without management buy-in, it's just another risk assessment which ends up just sitting somewhere. But with the management buy-in, TAPA is saying, if you want to submit a self-certification, and in the second revision we'll make that a certifiable certification. If you want that sign-off, it's got to be done by your managing director, meaning that we've got to address these risks. We can't just keep talking about it. We can't just keep putting it on a piece of paper and not addressing it. And from that risk assessment, that determines where we need to go with our business continuity planning. And we know it's weak. Historically, business continuity planning was more focused on IT recovery. And the supply chain, us poor people in the supply chain, are just left behind as normal. So that needs to change, and TAPA is going to change that. And that's why in some of our openings we've been saying to you, we are going to help you build a resilient and sustainable supply chain. Okay, what else is on the menu? Obviously, long-term sustainability. But look, let's go to the video. I love this video, by the way. Great team put it together. Let's look at the video for the risk assessment. So those are some of the things we're doing. I mean, we had some great feedback from that, and you know, we will look to enhance the training. We're even looking at having a basic training for those who have never done a risk assessment before in their lives, and then a more advanced training for those who want to go to the next level. And so we had some great feedback. But look, we can only do this with your input, and everybody in this room, everyone has something to offer. And certainly, you know, Jason, Iftikhar, you know, you'll see these guys on the stage later, but they've thrown themselves forward to actually help the association. Don't forget, we're all volunteers. I'm a volunteer. All of us have got day jobs, apart from my team. But if everyone pulls together, if everyone is putting these ideas forward, this is where we can actually make the impact. Now, look, I just want to talk quickly about membership money. I can't see my timer. How am I doing for time? But what I wanted to say is that when you pay your money to TAPA, those of you who are attending the AGM, you'll see how much money we have. But we don't waste this money. And what I've decided to do, and my board have been awesome in supporting this, we're fast-tracking this, right? Because we can't keep doing what we did in the past, which was sitting down in working groups and trying to do things. And this is why we brought Christian and the experts. And Iftikhar will talk about an integrated management system. So as we create more standards, we're going to try and save you money. You're meant to clap, aren't you? But we're trying to save you money, right? Because if you're going to be audited on each standard, Iftikhar will explain how we're going to rework that to create an integrated management system where you're going to lower your audit cost. Now, don't forget, there is a read across, okay? There's a read across because in terms of CTPAT, in terms of AEO programs, SDP Plus, your aviation security programs, all of those have the baseline TAPA security requirements in it. So there's an opportunity to maximize, and that certification, if you think of your whole supply chain, your first thing you should do is your risk assessment. And from your risk assessment, you should determine whether you're going to use your FSR ABC or your TSR level 1, 2, 3, or the cyber security standard. We will, together with TAPA Amir, we have TAPA Amir in the room, a representative. Byung, where are you? He's over there. He's too scared to stand up, just in case he has to give his name cards out. There he is. Welcome. TAPA Amir just had their conference last week. They had 553 people on the first day and about 400 on the second day. That's because some of them didn't make the next day because of the barbecue. Is that right? According to the official information. All right, so we have a number of other initiatives coming up. Scrap management. You know, we always talk about losses in the supply chain, but we're in the largest manufacturing base in the world. And, you know, every year, it's literally millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of scrap being lost. And there are syndicates working inside plants and things of that nature. So we're actually going to address that. We're going to work with manufacturers to resolve that problem. I've mentioned brand protection. Some of the other things we're going to do, we're going to have a finance course. How do you get the ROI out of TAPA? We're going to have a legal course. How do you get your standards and integrate them into your supplier agreements? Right, so we'll have a course on that as well. We're also going to have a course on how to integrate systems and processes. And again, I keep talking about Jason. Jason will talk about some of the things that he's done with Toll Group. Okay. All right. So now I saw my sign to get off the stage. So that's what I'm going to do. Listen, you have a great conference ahead. Don't forget, networking is important. Sharing of information is important. So have a great conference. Thank you very much.